And oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, I got kicked off. I'm back on. So if you want to watch the show, you will see that in the chat room. Go to 12radio.com, click on chat. That will bring you into our Facebook group, and you will see a couple of posts regarding me. The first is the post pinned at the top of the page. That's my chat room. That's what my producer puts up for me. And you can make your comments and questions there. We'll be doing readings later on in the show. And then there will also be another post, which is a live feed, and that's me live broadcasting the show. So you can watch that if you would like. I am going to be showing you some things today, and so it's kind of fun to watch if you can. Sorry if I seem a little distracted. My computer just restarted my browser and closed all the windows that I needed that I'm going to be sharing with you. So as I'm talking, I'm going to be reopening those. But what I was saying, and obviously you can tell I'm a little discombobulated because I'm so excited. But my very first Oracle deck, it's called Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle, is out. It is available. It is a labor of love that I have had in my head for a decade, but that I actually put together in physicality in about 3 weeks. I don't know if you've ever been through an experience like this. I bet you have, and I have on more experiences than I can imagine, really, that I can even think about right now, but where I have felt so inspired to do something that it just rolled out of me. Like I didn't even really have to think about it. I didn't really even have to try. It just happened to me. And this is one of those experiences. So I have tried to develop this deck several times. And every time I tried, I hit a bunch of roadblocks. The roadblocks were always about the artwork. I always struggled to find an artist that I could afford and that had kind of my vision of what I was trying to produce. Tried several times with several different people, great talented people, but just not the right fit for what I was trying to do. And so that has been my holdup for years. And then between Christmas and New Year's, I was kind of halfway on vacation. You know, we had radio, we were on a break from radio. And I was, spending some time at home. My wife had the week off. We just had a really relaxed week where I didn't have a whole lot of responsibility. And I have to remind myself it's really important to take some breaks like that periodically because of what it does for my creativity. When my brain is not in a place of having to be so connected to what's going on with other things, and I can really focus on what's going on inside of me, sometimes things just come flowing out of me. And that's what happened. So the holdup has always been artwork. And I had an epiphany that what I really needed to do was create the artwork myself. Now that seemed crazy to me because I'm a lot of things, but an artist is not one of them. I've never been, I want to be an artist. I own all kinds of art supplies and I've tried all kinds of things and it's just not my area. But I was really inspired that what I needed to do was take a look at fractal art. I love fractals. I've been really drawn to them before. There are other decks out there, other artists that have done fractal decks. I never really had considered doing one on my own until this epiphany just sort of happened to me. And so I started looking and I found a program that I liked and I started fiddling with it. And before you know it, I had created a whole bunch of my cards through the fractal art. So fractals are mathematical equations that are a repeating pattern. And so that means that if you're like make a program where you make fractals on a touch screen, the more you zoom in, the more the picture changes. You can zoom in just almost forever into a fractal, and the patterns change. It's what a kaleidoscope is. And so I spent a lot of time, hours and hours and hours and hours, so many hours I developed eye strain, actually, working on making fractals and developing fractals that looked like my kindred spirits. So Kindred Spirits is the name of this show, right? So you all know that I talk about kindred spirits in lots of ways all the time. I actually use that phrase in many ways. I refer to my guides as my kindred spirits, my radio listeners, my friends, my clients, people that I'm close to are all my kindred spirits. It's like that that matching vibration, that resonating energy that we have between each other in various ways in my life, make people my kindred spirits. Well, I've seen my guides that way for a long time, and I originally, um, when I first started working as a professional psychic and healer more than 10 years ago now, I had really developed a team of 13 kindred spirits, 13 guides. They were all archangels and goddesses, and they just started coming to me in meditation, talking to me, sharing information with me, guiding me, helping me through my own life. And then I started contacting them and working with them to help me in other people's lives as well. That is when my first inclination that I should put together some kind of a deck started. Now, I've gone from 13 to 32. So there are 32 in the deck. And I will say, actually, 8 of them are chakras. But the energy, chakra energy, is so powerful and intrinsic to who we are and to how we function, that I felt like that energy needed to be in this deck as well, because this is truly an oracle deck. And so it's meant to read for yourself. You can read, I recommend a what do I need to know today spread, or a, which is just a single card, or a past, present, and future spread, 3 cards, or a situation, action, and outcome spread, which is also 3 cards. So those are 3 different ways to read the cards. Although you can use any way that you read oracle cards, feel free. My wife reads tarot, and she told me that she feels like she could easily do a Tree of Life reading with this deck. So that's a little bit about it. You guys know, I've talked to you about this many times, but my first kindred spirit was Archangel Michael. I'm just going to show you this card. I'm going to hold it up in the video. This is Michael. I'll post it in the chat too. Archangel Michael was a guide of mine long before I ever even knew who he was. And that was one of the things about this experience, is that I didn't go seeking anybody. That it sort of happened the other way around. So I grew up in a religion that didn't talk about angels, didn't teach angels. That wasn't part of my growing up. And so it was always, angels were loved ones who have crossed. They were, those that were there to help you. But I didn't know anything about archangels, nothing. That wasn't in my language at all. And then in my early 20s, when I really began my own spiritual development and started learning, I started reading about Archangel Michael. And it was a stunning experience for me, because I had had multiple experiences as a child where I was protected, where I knew that what had happened could have been much more dangerous. I could have been harmed. I had a couple of car accident experiences where I cannot explain how I didn't have an accident. How something that the car just stopped in a place that it shouldn't have. I had many experiences like that where I didn't know why I was protected, but I did know I was. Then in my early days as a social worker, even before I was a social worker, I was working as an advocate for a domestic violence and sexual assault program while I was in college. And I remember several occasions feeling protected, like in a situation where, I used to go out on scene with the police on domestic violence and sexual assault situations. And those could be really dangerous, especially if there was someone who was on the run, if there was an offender that was on the loose. And, I always had to have an officer with me because I was not armed. And I had a few, kind of really close calls that I always felt like it always just worked out just exactly. The officer pulled up at just the right moment or whatever, that I was protected. And so I didn't understand who that was until I really started my own spiritual journey and reading about angels and learning about them. And I immediately identified Archangel Michael. Now, I know I am not alone in this. Many people talk about being guided by Archangel Michael, being protected by Archangel Michael. I'm just one of that list of many. But he has definitely been with me all of my life. I have remembrances of him throughout my entire life. Another of my original kindred spirits is Archangel Raphael. I'm going to show the card too. I'll post some pictures in the chat when I get a minute. This is Archangel Raphael. He is the healing angel. And I first I first had experience with him when I started learning Reiki. and he used to come to me and help me heal myself, heal others. I could feel him around me and feel that energy, his energy around me. And I don't talk to a lot of people about these experiences because a lot of people don't understand them. And I don't, I don't like to, I can't prove that they're there, right? You guys know this, but I know they are. I have no doubt. They're with me all the time, communicating with me all the time. I feel them. I hear them. I am a channel. I, I'm just kind of a natural channel. I didn't actually learn how to be a channel. I never intended to be a channel. I just am. And so their messages come through me all the time. And that's really what Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle is it's their messages coming through me. So the card deck is available. The book is available. So the cards are pretty familiar energies. And so if you don't necessarily need the book, the cards themselves just simply have, like, this is the butterfly card. The cards just have the name of the individual or the energy on them. They don't have a description. Now, I really truly believe in reading oracle decks by intuition. And so I like having a guidebook. I think it's important to maybe read through it once, but I also want to encourage you that if you use my cards, that you really trust your intuition. Oracle cards are just a physical representation of our energy. There's nothing magical about this little deck of cards, right? It is simply it's paper. They're little pieces of paper with pretty pictures on them. But what they do is they represent our intuition to us in a physical way, which makes it easier to hear what's trying to come through. It makes it easier to understand the messages that are coming through. That's why we need them. And that the symbolism, the message, whatever it is that you see in it, that you recognize the message, that's what matters. And so it is kind of us talking to us. It's kind of like your higher self speaking through the cards to your conscious self, because we have multiple layers to who we are, don't we? And sometimes we feel like we need someone to tell us what to do. And often really the answer is within ourselves and around us. One of the reasons that I wanted to represent these energies as energies and not as in physical form is because they're not in physical form. They don't look like us. They don't look like people. Angels also don't look like they have big wings, really. I mean, that's a human development, right? We developed that, not the other way around. So I wanted to share what I see and feel from them, not the traditional representations, but just sort of my experience of them, because I know that our minds sort of have to create them as a person in some way for them to have meaning, but they're really not. They're really just an energy. And so the cards really just represent that. I'll show you. This is Archangel Arielle. And she's an angel that her energy is very magical. She's all about magic and synchronicity when she comes forward. And so it's a lot of fun to work with her. But if you can see, the energy that came up for her kind of looks like a butterfly. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to talk more about the cards after we do our meditation, but I wanted to start with that, and I'll tell you where you can get them if you want to, and then I'm going to do some readings in the chat room with them as well. So that's where we are. I can't even, I don't know, I'm sort of tongue-tied today because this is such an exciting moment for me. But right now, we're going to do a meditation. So every day I draw a card for us, just sort of as a daily guidance card, and I've been posting those on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. If you want to see that, you can follow me in one of those places and you'll find them, and it's Kristi Brower in all of those places, so it's easy to find. And so the card for today is the goddess Iris. Iris is a messenger. Iris carries messages back and forth between us and the other side. When you call on Iris in your life, you're seeking a message from someone. If it's from a guide or an angel, if it's from someone who's crossed over, because she is kind of the guardian of the rainbow bridge, of carrying that energy between us and those who've crossed over. She also helps us with ancestral energy and just feeling connected to who we are as a in a lineage sort of way. So Iris is the message. Iris is our messenger for today. And so because of that, I'm going to do my Iris meditation. And I call this Connect with Loved Ones. So I'm going to go ahead and start the meditation. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Call in the goddess Iris. Ask her to come to you and connect you with a loved one who has crossed over. See Iris moving toward you with the beautiful soul of someone you have lost. Ask Iris to help you connect with this soul and take some time to ask any questions you have and say anything you feel you need to say. Now, feel a sense of peace and awareness wash over you. Know in your heart that you never truly lose anyone and that you can always call on Iris to help you connect again. Thank Iris for her energy and connection. And give gratitude for your connection to those who have crossed over. And now, take 3 deep breaths and open your eyes. All right. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. That is my featured meditation of the week. So I did something to make it a little easier to find the meditation that we're focusing on my website. And so I now have a featured meditation. So if you go to kristibrower.com and you click on featured meditation, you'll find the Iris meditation is right there to be downloaded. So it's much easier to get to it. You don't have to scroll through all the other meditations. So it is available for free download. The crystal for Iris, because every card has a crystal assigned to it. You know me, I love stones, and I do find that the energy of stones helps us to connect to things. And so that's why I developed the cards with a crystal on with them. So apophyllite, I'll put a postcard in the chat about apophyllite. Apophyllite is the stone this week because that is the stone that I identified for Iris. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Iris reading. What does it mean when Iris comes up? So it can mean that there's a message from the other side that we need to really listen for that. It may be that we're feeling nostalgic or we're grieving and we need a message. We're feeling a need. Maybe we're needing connected to our ancestors. Maybe we're feeling that need. I don't know about you, but every once in a while I need to make a recipe that one of my grandmas made. That makes me feel connected to them. They've both crossed now, and so sometimes I need that connection, and that's one way that I do it. So that's the reminder from Iris. Iris is a crown chakra goddess, and so she represents that area of the energy body where we make the connection to those who've crossed over and all of our guidance system. Now the challenge with Iris, and this is where your intuition comes in. Is the message the primary message about just needing a message from the other side, or is it the challenge? So the challenge that Iris brings up is grief, holding a grudge, and fear. So are you in a place of that? Are you grieving and grieving too heavily and not able to move forward in a positive way? Are you stuck? Do you need to seek out some help and guidance? Are you holding a grudge? This is something I've dealt with over the years with a lot of clients when it comes to those who've crossed over. It's there's no judgment, because I understand it. I have my own situation that I struggle with this as well. But sometimes it's hard to let go of something that someone did when they were living in order to be able to connect to them as they've crossed over. My grandfather went to prison for molesting my first cousin. And after he got out of prison, he did quite a few other terrible things and had to be locked up until he died. And he has come to me a few times, and I don't feel ready to let him in yet. I don't feel ready to communicate with him. And that's something that, I'm still working on. But sometimes it's a reminder. Are you holding a grudge? Where are you at with that? Because the energy of those who've crossed over is different than who they were in this lifetime. They drop their egos when they die. We all do. And so a lot of the things that happen in this lifetime are done because of a human personality, and not so much because of, they don't really carry those things with them. But we keep them because we're still in this lifetime. So that can be difficult. And so that's something to look at. And are you prepared to let something like that go? I'm wondering, this coming up for me right now, is it time to really look at that for my grandfather? And then the other is fear. Sometimes we're afraid to know the answer. Sometimes we're afraid to look at the past. Sometimes, fear gets in the way of making a connection. And so this is something to look at right now. Are you feeling afraid, and why? Exploring it is the only way to resolve it, to explore it and understand it. Maybe you're afraid of what someone will say, or what it will be like to connect with someone after they've crossed over. Sometimes that brings up more grief. So that's the reminder to look at that and work on that this week. And then we'll talk about the stone of the week. Let's see. I have to get back to One to Radio because I got kicked out of everything, unfortunately. Let's see here. Now I'm in the chat room. Yay! I haven't even been able to see any of your comments. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to post the stone of the week, which is apophyllite. Apophyllite is a crown chakra stone. It is a stone that really helps with clarity. Sorry, don't mean for the pause. Just trying to see where I put it. It's a stone that really helps with clarity and connection. It helps to open and clear the crown chakra and help us to just be more connected in general to ourselves and to our guidance system. Sometimes that energy gets blocked up and stuck in our heads, and we need some help to clear it out. And apophyllite is a great stone for that. Sometimes when I hold it in my hands, my head kind of spins, and I know that, it's like working. It's sort of like the spin cycle in the washing machine. It's clearing out something that doesn't need to be there anymore. So I did post a picture of it in the chat. It is the picture of the same stone I'm holding right here. This is a piece of apophyllite that I have. I have several pieces. This is I'll show you in the chat, in the video. This is a square piece of apophyllite that's really cool. I love this stone. So I love crown chakra stones, so I have a lot of them. But it does create an open channel for communication with guides, spirits, and angels. And that's, a perfect stone for Iris, isn't it? To, bring that energy in of the messages that may be coming our way. And apophyllite helps to open that channel. Donna in the chat says yes, and sometimes they actually come to visit you and apologize. My dad did. I will never forget that. I will say that my grandfather has tried a couple of times, and he put me through a lot and my family through a lot, and I haven't felt ready to allow that. And now I'm wondering, it's been a long time now, if I'm ready to allow that. So I appreciate this message for today, because it's definitely resonating with me as well. Let's see, just want to check the chat here for a minute. Thanks everybody for being here. Jan and Courtney, Maureen, Robbie, Tara, Quali, Donna, Lioness, let's see, Elizabeth, Ivy, Katie, Jennifer, Julia, oh my goodness, Greg, Ivy, Karen. I'm gonna miss some of you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to miss you, but I really do appreciate all of you being here and listening today. And this is a big day for me. I haven't known how to feel about this. You know, when you come to the completion of a big project, for one, I sort of feel like sort of deflated a little bit. Like, it was so much fun to work on it, and now that it's done, it's like, what next? And I actually do know what is coming next, and that'll be something I share another day. But I have some more projects happening. I have to tell you that I never really thought it would be possible to self-publish cards. It's kind of an amazing thing that it is, that they can print a single deck at a time if you want them to. And that's really, really amazing to me. That technology has changed so much to allow for that, and to allow for that at a reasonable cost. It was really amazing. I really never expected that it would be this simple. This is my book. I'm just going to hold it up in the video if you're watching. The book it's kind of big. I don't know. This is my first self-publishing project, so you have no idea what it takes to format things and prepare your document for print. It's crazy. Really great learning experience. I have to give props to my sister Katie Weaver, because she self-published before I did, and so she walked me through all kinds of stuff and helped me so much. I really appreciated it, because this is a crazy it's a crazy thing, and you sort of have to just know stuff because it doesn't always tell you. So I'm self-published at Amazon, and the cards are available from a different place. So right now, I hope to change this eventually, but right now the card and the book have to be ordered separately. The book is available as an ebook as well as a physical book, so you don't actually have to buy the physical book. It's available on Kindle, and Kindle is an app that can be used on any device. But I'm going to put a post in the chat room, how to get my cards. You just go to kristibrower.com and you click on Oracle cards, and you'll see them there. They're there also with my Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move deck that I did with the Psychic Sisters. So that's how to get them if you're interested. I hope to have an app eventually. I love card apps. I don't know about you guys, but I use them quite a bit. And that's my next step, is to find a way to have an app developed to go along with them. And so I'm hoping that's coming as well. But they're pretty fun to have. They're small. I made them. They're only playing card size. I did that for several reasons, but one of them is that I kind of like small cards, because this is a deck that can go with you. You can throw it in your bag and take it with you. So if you want, to have something with you to ask a quick question, you can. That makes it simpler to use. And I love the big, beautiful gilded decks too, but I have to tell you that when you're self-publishing, they're really expensive unless you can buy a large number of them at a time. And so this was much more reasonable for now. And, it's my first deck. I'm not going to say it's my only deck or my last deck, because I don't think it is. It's actually my second deck, because I'm in Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move as well. But I know that this is just the beginning of a lot of things for me. But it's fun for me to get to share it with all of you. Really, really, really exciting to get to share it with all of you. Okay. Now, let's get down to business here. Let's get down to some readings. I'm going to read. So if you are interested in getting a reading today, readings will be done with my cards. And I will share some pictures in the chat room as I go. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second. Facebook is really kind of buggy today. Quali says she got the book. Thank you so much. She said she can't wait to get the cards. Well, I am so excited about that. And Lioness says she's very proud of me. Thank you. I'm proud of myself. It's kind of a crazy thing to do this, and to actually see it in print and in physical form. It's pretty exciting. Robbie says, I feel the move I've been wanting is about to come to fruition. With that said, I'm now freaking out, selling my house and starting over. I will need a new job, etc. Any insight? Oh, Robbie, let's try you a card. Oh, one of those transitional times where you know you need to do it, where you know it's the right thing, but it's also scary, right? All that change all at once, that whole flipping your life upside down, all in this, all together it's scary. It definitely is, but it's also wonderful. Okay, and so for you, I pulled Archangel Arielle. Now, Archangel Arielle is all about magic. This is a really great this is a really great message that things are going to fall into place exactly as they are meant to, because this card is all about synchronicity. You know, those moments when everything just falls into place exactly as you hoped that it would, never that you expected that it might. And you discover that, things that you didn't even expect would come together for you do. This is one of those times. That is what Archangel Arielle represents, is the time that everything just falls into place for you. So it's important that, first of all, you allow things to happen the way that they're meant to. This means divine timing is at work in your life. And when divine timing is at work, you have to roll with it just a little bit. Let the timing play out as it does naturally. Don't try to push or force anything. But this is one of those times where you look for and get a miracle. Archangel Arielle is a third eye entity. So this is a reminder to really trust your intuition. Things will fall into place for you, but it's important that you listen to your guidance. Now, challenge with Archangel Arielle can be deception, wishful thinking, and dissatisfaction. So first of all, you have to really trust your gut when it comes to what's happening and what you should do and when you should act and when you should make a choice. Wishful thinking. So wishful thinking is actually really negative thinking. Oh, I just wish this could happen. I wish that could happen. This is not about wishing anything. This is about being proactive and making the steps. We don't ever gain anything by sitting back and waiting for something to happen and wishing that it would. You have to be the proactive person. You are the person who makes everything happen. You just trust your intuition and follow it. Dissatisfaction is the other challenge that can happen with Archangel Arielle. Important to remember that things may come together differently than you first expected, and you may not get everything that you want, but the basis of it will be the right thing. So really catching yourself if you are struggling with negative thinking or being ungrateful. Really watch that. Okay, so watch for the synchronicities in your life. Archangel Arielle's stone is purple fluorite, so I'm going to hold that up in the video. Here's the meditation from Archangel Arielle. Dear Archangel Arielle, please surround me in magic, drawing possibilities to me and bringing fairies to guide me and attracting miracles. So Archangel Arielle is the angel of elementals. She's very much a fairy energy. So remember that when you see, you may have some little experiences with some mischievous sort of fairy energy helping you along the way. This is a really good sign, Robbie, that everything's going to work out just exactly as you need it to. Yay, that's great news, huh? Okay, let's see who else we've got here. Elizabeth says she's patiently waiting for my deck to arrive, foot tapping. That's really funny because I was too, and then they came today. Let's see. Donna says, awesome that it all came together for you that way. Yeah, it really is. It's kind of still sort of shocking. Julia says, can she have a scan? She's been under the weather for 2 weeks. Yes, let's do a scan. Let's also do a card and see what we find for you. Julia, I've been feeling under the weather for almost 2 weeks now. Let's see. But your vibration's low. Your vibration is very low. Okay, and I pulled the heart chakra card for you. So let's be sure that we're looking at the emotional issues in your life. What's going on in your relationships? What's going on in your relationship with yourself? Sometimes when we start to feel run down, it's because we're really not taking very good care of ourselves. And so this is about really looking at self-love, and are you taking good care of you? I feel like you have a lot of energy drain on you, but there are other people who need you quite a lot. The energy around you can get a little heavy because of that need and that sort of pulling on you. So let's do a little clearing to clear some of that energy out. But I want you to look at that. Julia, are there places that you need to set better boundaries in your relationships so that there's less of that tugging on you and more people standing on their own 2 feet? That is something that we all have to really work toward, especially as we are, people who are compassionate and loving. It can be taken too far. You can be taken advantage of. So your card, the challenge is, sometimes we avoid our emotions. Sometimes we have some trouble with self-love, and so we don't really do what's very best for us. So this is a good chance to look at that. Ocean Jasper is the stone for you. And the meditation is just a mantra. I love myself. I am at peace. So that's a great mantra to use when you're meditating. And the stone Ocean Jasper, I'll show Ocean Jasper in the video, is a great stone to use with the heart chakra. One of my favorites of all time, Ocean Jasper. So, Julia, I encourage you to do that. Really look at your relationships with other people and yourself. How are you in a position of maybe giving too much, and that's drawing you down? And I did do some clearing of your energy body and cleared your bubble, so I do think that'll help. Let's see. Katie says, I feel the same way. I've been protected in ways I cannot imagine. Like someone was looking after me because I have a higher purpose. Just wish I could figure out what it is. I started to connect more when I started Reiki as well. But yeah, Reiki had that same effect on me. I think, Katie, the thing you have to understand is that this is a process, and that just trusting your intuition and trusting yourself is how you find what your purpose is. And it doesn't all come at once. So you just go with what you're guided to go with, and you'll find it. Let's see. Oh, Ivy would like a body scan. You bet. Let's take a look at your energy body and let's pull a card too. So for Ivy, what does Ivy need? Ivy, I'm really being drawn to your solar plexus, but let's see what the cards have to say too. Feeling like there's some self-doubt going on. Let's see. Sorry. Ooh, Archangel Zadkiel. I love him. Very cool. Archangel Zadkiel is the newest archangel to come into my life. He's all about divine connection, knowledge, wisdom, being open to your guidance and your higher self. And when the challenge there is to feel disconnected and shut down. And that's where I feel like that's happening with you, Ivy. And that's where it's coming out in your solar plexus, is that you're really questioning yourself. You're questioning your connection. You're questioning your intuition. Now is a really, really good time to connect with Archangel Zadkiel, because he is a great crown chakra energy. His stone is selenite, which is a fantastic stone for transmuting all kinds of energy and helping to release stagnant and heavy energy. But I would also really work on reconnecting with your intuition. And an easy way to do that is to keep an intuition journal. We don't really realize how often we are prompted, really. I think we are prompted so much more frequently than we realize, and you need to keep a little journal that can help you to see that and recognize, when you are really getting hits. So you write down when you have a hit in your head, and you write down, what was it? What was your prompt? What kind of intuition was it? Where did it come from? And then what did you do? Did you listen to it and follow it or not? And the great thing about it is that it is self-validating, because if you did follow it, when you go back and read through it a week later, you'll be like, man, I'm really glad I listened to that. Or you'll go back and read it and say, I really wish I had listened to that. So I think that's a really important place for you to go right now, is to just go back to a place of reconnecting with your intuition and learning to trust yourself. But call on Archangel Zadkiel to help you do that, because he is your crown chakra angel. He's the angel that really helps us to connect with our guidance system. Get a piece of selenite to help with that. Let's see, I'm going to post a picture of him for you in the chat. Oh, whoops, I'm posting it in the wrong place. Hang on, I will post that for you in just a second, Ivy. I'm doing an even more bigger multitasking today than I usually do. And I often do a lot of multitasking. So, oh, here we go. I wanted to post it on your question, Ivy, so it would be easy for you to see it. There we go. Thank you for your question. Let's see. Karen says, good morning. I want your deck. Yay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you get it. It's such a labor of love for me. It's just really fun to hear from people who are using it, and, you know, just have that experience with it is very cool. Donna says, I would love a card from your deck. All right, let's do it. Let's pull a card for Donna. I don't know how you guys shuffle cards. I always tap on the cards, knock on them once or twice to knock off the energy from the previous reading. Then I shuffle 3 times while I'm asking a question in my head. Then I split the deck wherever it wants to separate. And that first card that's got its back to me, I flip it over. And that's the card that is the message. That's how I draw. Not everybody draws the same way, but that's how I draw. Okay. So Donna, for you, I pulled Moth. So there are a group of cards, a group in the cards that are called, I call them guides. They are spirit animals. You could call them that if you want to. They're, you know, more from the natural realm. And Moth is all about perseverance and seeking light, literally, you know how moths do that. Moths seek light. They seek out the positive. They seek out the good. They seek out what they need, right? The challenge for Moth is giving up and getting lost. So sometimes perseverance is hard. Sometimes it can be difficult to find the light. I've been in that place in my life. So, Donna, it's really important to stay connected, to stay on your path, even if it feels hard, even if it feels like there's a little darkness around you, the light is coming. And so seeking it in every way that you can is important. Tiger's Eye is the stone. I have some blue Tiger's Eye here in front of me, so I'll show that on the video. Tiger's Eye is the stone for Moth. And that is, I love Moth. I can't even tell you what it was like to try to make a moth in fractals. Moth, when it happened, I just nearly fainted because it was like, it looks like a moth. When you work with fractals, it's not drawing. It's online, it's digital. And so it's a little different, and it's kind of hard sometimes to get them to actually look like something specific. So the guide cards actually took me the very longest to create, because some of them actually do. There's a card that is an owl and it looks like an owl. There's a card that's a raven. It looks like a raven. Moth looks like a moth. It took some serious time on my part to get these to look this way, but I love them. The meditation is, Dear Moth, please give me strength to persevere through change. I'm going to tell you a quick story about Moth. This is why I put Moth in the deck, because you may think, Moth, that's weird. I don't like moths. They're creepy. So I used to live where I live in Idaho. It's a very volcanic place. And I used to live on a volcano. Literally, it was a tuff cone. Tuff cones are volcanic glass. It was formed in a river. So as the magma melted, or as it cooled really fast. So it cooled into volcanic glass. And I lived on this volcano. And it was a crazy place. It was like living in a prehistoric kind of land. There were snakes and scorpions and a zillion kinds of bugs. And the very first fall that I lived there were tons and tons of moths, and they would congregate around the porch light and stuff. And I had a clothesline where I would hang my clothes outside because it was really windy and was really easy to dry your clothes that way. Well, one time in the fall, I left a whole batch of clothes out on the line overnight. Huge mistake. So what happens in the fall to moths is, as it begins to freeze outside, they die. They can't survive the cold. So what they do is they try to get in anywhere they can get in. So they got into that laundry in a way that I was absolutely stunned by. All the jeans, the pockets were full of moths, and up the pant legs and in the sleeves of everything. That laundry was full of moths. It took me an hour to shake the moths out and then had to rewash the entire thing. The other thing that the moths used to do, this was the weirdest thing to me. They would try to get under the wheel covers of my car. Like they would try to get in under there because maybe they thought it was warmer. They were very persistent. I will just say that, very persistent. And so I've always been very inspired by that energy, that persistence to find the light and that persistence to live is incredibly strong in the moth. And I've had that in my own personal experiences. So I wanted to share that with you. So Donna, that's a very special card to me. So I'm really glad that you got that. I've got a few people here on the video that would like a reading. I'm going to do what I can to get there. Terry says fear is big in the past and trying to let go of it in 2018. Any reading on that? Yes, let's see what the cards have to say about fear for Terry. What do you need to focus on this year that will help to release that? Okay, let's see. What have we got? Oh, okay. Well, this is the third eye card, Terry. This is a reminder to use your intuition to alleviate fear. We get intuitive hits for a lot of different reasons, and they aren't always the same. So sometimes we use our intuition to know about other people, but lots of times we use our intuition to know about ourselves. And I think that it's common for us to not always want to do that for ourselves, right? Maybe we don't always want to know the answers. And that is a place where fear can come into play. But I want to encourage you, Terry, to really work on focusing on your third eye, on your intuition. What are the messages that you are getting yourself about your life and about now? This is all about learning to trust yourself and learning to trust your own intuition and your guidance. That's really key. Doubt always comes into play here. So that's why I want to encourage you, and I already suggested this to Ivy, but I think this maybe is a common theme today, that you take an opportunity to do an intuition journal, get more connected with what you're getting prompted about, and are you really listening? Our intuition requires attention. Sometimes we get so distracted by other things that we don't put our attention where it needs to go. And so that's what I'm feeling for you, Terry, is that it's really about putting your attention, not on your fear, but on your intuition and on developing that skill inside of yourself. You get a heads up sometimes that way in your life, and you get guidance that you need. And so learning to really trust it and learning to put that as your focus will help you with your fear. So thank you very much for that question. Let's see, I think I can get to one more. Ita says, hi, Kristi, I'm wondering if you could see me moving from my current place or instead start traveling. Do you see things improving with my relationship? Wow, we got a lot there. Okay. Ida, let's see what the cards have to say about what's the most important thing to focus on right now. Because it sounds like you're looking for relationships improving, you're looking for travel, you're looking for a move. Sometimes, one of the things we have to do is figure out, where do you start? What's first? So let's just ask that. What's first? Ooh, and we got the owl card. One of my favorites. This card, also a major labor of love to create an owl out of a fractal, but I did it. It was a lot of fun. So, okay, so I want to bring your attention to a couple of things here. So the owl, we know, most of us are familiar with the owl. The owls represent knowledge and wisdom and discernment. This is a key element for you, Ida, discernment. Okay, this is what's coming up strongly for me. The challenge with owl is deception. Are you being deceived in some area? And so it's very key for you right now to really trust your internal lie detector when it comes to every situation in your life. And I think this is really a lot about relationships more than anything, but it's really key that you, kind of cut through the crap here. What's true and what isn't, and not based on what people are saying, based on what you are feeling. Use owl energy to help you to be discerning and to help you to find the truth of a situation. I feel like there's something here where there's some deception going on. So the key to moving forward positively is for you to identify that. You may already know what it is, and maybe you're afraid to say it, maybe you're afraid to trust it. So I feel like this is validation for you. It's important for you to hear it hear it. Sometimes we need to hear it from outside of ourselves to know that it's true. So I just want to encourage you to look at that, look at deception. The stone for owl is petrified wood. It's a great grounding stone. It really helps to keep us in our bodies. That's when we really feel that energy of deception in us, is when we're really well grounded. And the meditation from owl is, Dear Owl, please guide me in discerning truth. Help me to be open to truth and willing to learn. So it's about, being willing to hear it and to being willing to accept it. So look for that in your life right now, Ida. I think that's the next best step and place to go. So thank you so much for your question. Let's see, we've got a couple more minutes here. Maybe I can get to one more. Let's see. Donna says she can relate to that card very much. She loves the story about moths. I take this as a message to be that persistence with help from my guides. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Katie wants to know, what is your take on buying your own deck? I have heard they should be a gift. Does it really matter? Oh, no, it totally does not matter. When we owned a metaphysical store and used to sell all different kinds of cards, this was a question that came up all the time. And I've heard it both ways. I've had people tell me I can't buy my own deck. They have to be a gift. Or I can't use a deck that someone else gives me because it has their energy on them. Let's just get real. These are pieces of paper. These cards are pieces of paper, aren't they? That's all they are. You can come to owning them in any way that you want, and that is entirely okay. Do I think the energy of them should be cleared? I do, because all things can pick up energy. If you get a used deck, I think that sitting it next to a white candle that you've blessed to clear all energy out of it is a great way to clear the deck. I always knock on my cards to knock energy off from them, but I don't think it matters in any way how you get your deck. Get what you want, use what you want. If someone gives you something you love, great. And you know what? If you want to buy something for yourself, do it. Please don't be afraid of any of that. I know I'm not going to get to all of you. I'm going to just grab one more person. Polly would like a body scan, so let's do that. I'm going to give you a body scan real quick and a card before we end the show. Don't forget, you can get your own copy of this deck if you would like. Just go to KristiBrower.com, click on Oracle Cards, and you will see how to order them. All right, let's see, Polly. What have we got for you? Third eye again. Man, there's been a theme in this show. This is all about divine connection. This is all about listening to our guides. This is all about being open. The iris card and the third eye card, these things are coming up over and over again. The Zadkiel card. So this is all about us being open to those kinds of messages coming through. Quelly, I feel like this is related to an overactive crown chakra, and that always affects the third eye. So you've got a lot of energy in your head. I just feel that. So I'm going to clear some out of there. Remember that having a balanced root chakra helps you to have a balanced crown chakra. So putting some extra energy into getting a walk in every day, getting some physical activity every day is really, really important in order to help you to stay grounded. When you're grounded, then your crown clears the way that it should, and then your intuition doesn't feel clouded. So that, I think, is the message for you. I will post the card for you, and I am out of time. Thank you guys so much for being here and for sharing my cards with me today. I'm really, really excited about them. And of course, this is not the last time you will see them, but it's only the first, because I'll be using them here on the show a lot. If you have any questions about them, you can message me over at KristiBrower.com. I want to say thank you all so much for being here today, and please stay tuned for the Keys to Awakening with Velvedon. And as always, thanks for listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.